Today we have Andi Ward. Andi Ward's with MVP, Emerging Veteran Players. Thanks for joining. How are you today?
Absolutely. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. So MVP, I like the acronym. It makes me laugh. It took me like, I don't know, a year to realize it. I think it was talking to you. But what does it stand for? What's your organization doing? Who are they? Break it
Yeah,
down for us a little bit.
totally. So merging vets and players, we bring together combat veterans and former professional athletes just to give us a new team again after that uniform comes off. So we realized, well, first off, we were founded in 2015 by Jay Glazer and Nate Boyer. Jay Glazer is an NFL insider, and Nate Boyer, former Green Beret, played a little bit for the Seattle Seahawks. So both in their circles, they realized that Jay working with athletes, Nate working mostly with veterans, they realized that we similarly struggle with that transition when we leave sport or service. We lose, our identity, we lose our mission, right? What gives us
Right.
meaning and purpose in life. And just the nature of things, when you're a combat veteran or a professional athlete, you are a bit separate from the civilian world, right? You haven't been a part of it for a very long time. And so there's just so many things that kind of culminate when you get out. You lose your team. And then you're faced with all of these societal pressures, financial pressures, trying to find health insurance, just all these different things. And life can be really challenging. And then you pile on top of that any trauma that you had in childhood that drove you to sport or service, any trauma that you experienced during your time. And then, you have no team and you're just kind of out there to try to figure it out. And life is really hard. And for those of us that have transitioned out of the military, most people that I know, we first went far away from the veteran community and then kind of made our way back. But for me, it took me 5 years of like really struggling hard. And then I found MVP. I really found my team again. And it just changes everything to have people that on your right and your left that like they understand your journey, they understand where you're going or trying to go, and they can just walk that journey with you. And it's been so cool. So we are in 8 chapters across the country. We're in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Seattle, Chicago, Dallas, New York, Atlanta, and then we have a virtual chapter for anyone who doesn't live in those physical locations. And each chapter meets once a week. We work out for like 30 to 45 minutes just to kind of get that burn again. We know, athletes and veterans, we definitely worked out all the time when we were serving, right? We know the benefits of working out as a team to build camaraderie, the benefits of going through something really hard with somebody. And then we sit down on the wrestling mats or the turf, wherever our gyms are, and we just talk about whatever's going on in our lives. And it's just such a cool group. It's all like peer support led. We do have a clinical director, which has been super great. Members have access to her if they need extra support. But it is really peer led, which is super cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you
Yeah.
answered so many of the questions right there off the gun. I like it. One thing that I thought was really cool is when I got out of the military, it wasn't just a transition for me for my career path, but also my personal life, because I think a lot of us were stationed in a place that maybe we don't want to live. So we
Yeah.
relocate to wherever we want to be.
Yeah.
And then after that, trying to establish those social circles again, it was really hard for me. There's a long time that I would say I was alone, or really isolated and making those connections. So you all are providing that service of creating a new tribe, which
Yeah.
that's amazing because, it's not just the financial aspect of getting out that hurts. It's that social structure that I struggle with too. But that's cool. So you guys meet once a week, and then you do the huddle. I like the huddle idea because I like the name of it. I used to play football when I was a kid, and that just, I don't know, it always makes me smile because it just reminds me of a bunch of people close together, sitting down talking, and
Totally.
So what is the virtual like? Like, how does that one work? Because that'd be the most one I would try because I'm out here in Hawaii and I
Yeah.
can't really make it to LA or anything. But yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, totally. You should definitely join the virtual. The virtual is very similar. Like, of course, it's always awesome to be in person and to be able to like physically give someone a hug. And the virtual started because of COVID. So our whole, when a lot of programs had to shut down, MVP really ramped up. So we took our entire program to virtual. Each chapter had their own virtual sessions. And then it was so cool because being on staff with MVP, one of the hardest things was somebody reaching out and being like, I need this team so bad, but I'm not in one of your chapter cities. And you're just like, oh, there's nothing we can do for you, And so
Right.
virtual has been just incredible for us. So it's the same format as in person. You'll get on, you'll work out for like 30 minutes. We have an amazing trainer that leads the workouts. He's been a longtime member. And then same thing, we'll get in that huddle and just talk about whatever's going on in our lives. And I mean, we've had some of the most deep conversations on virtual, and it's just like, it seems crazy because we can be in a bit of a virtual burnout at this point, right? But every time I get on, that feeling of being connected, that you have a team, like that does more for our mental health than we can ever realize. We kind of live in a society where, I mean, I'm in LA, so for sure this is big for us. As you're walking down the street, you live with so many people, right? But you don't really even say hi to them in the morning. Like I barely know my neighbors because there's just this like awkwardness there. And, that's something for me I could work on, right? But but to have like a team of people that you like, I've been part of the program for 5 years now, and we've like grown up together. We started, many of us were homeless and just trying to go back to school, just trying to figure out life. And I'm actually getting married today. So
What?
yeah,
Today? You're doing an
today.
interview on your wedding day?
I know it just happened. So we're doing a courthouse today, and then we're gonna get married. Do the wedding next year. So I was like, oh, I
Well,
have a today.
congratulations. We
Thank
totally could
you.
have rescheduled. You just
No,
let me know when you got to wrap this up.
no, I have plenty of time. So yeah, it's just like, it's like family now. People have had kids, their kids are growing up. And I don't know, that's the core of our mental health, right? Is having these like relationships of people that just know us, and human connection is so important. It's the foundation. Like unless you have that, you can't do anything else to really start to rebuild your life back up. And you see people who on the outside seemingly have great lives, right? And then they don't have that connection because maybe they poured everything into work or, just trying the best they can. And, you can have all the things, and without the people, without those deep lasting connections, people that really get you, it's just life is not really as worth it.
Yeah, totally. I find it a lot easier to open up and communicate with people that you have a lot of relatability to.
Yes.
When I moved back home, it was really hard to just be myself, I felt like. And then once I got those connections with some of my old former military vets and established that again, it was easier to like have real conversations again. I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does someone get involved in MVP? Because you can be a member, volunteer. I believe you guys have careers as well as donations. So
Yeah.
how do you become, we'll just start top to bottom. How would you become a member? Like, is there like any prerequisites, like anything they have to like any boxes they got to check off?
Yeah. So for our core weekly programs, they're for combat veterans and former professional athletes. So for us, combat veteran is anyone that's deployed to a combat zone or received hazardous duty pay. So you go to our website, vetsandplayers.org, right up in front, become a member. And if you are a veteran, you'll just upload your DD-214, fill out the application. It's pretty quick. For athletes, we can just Google them. So that's nice.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's pretty quick, pretty simple. And then a program manager, you'll select which location you're applying for. So it'll be virtual or in person. And the program manager will contact you and get you all set up with next steps.
Awesome. If you're traveling, can you go to like one of those other locations?
Absolutely. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
such a cool thing about the program is once you're a member, you have access to everything. So you can go in person and virtual. It's so fun to have members that travel from location to location. It's family no matter what. You're a member, you're family right away. And that's the really cool thing about it.
That's awesome. So a career, how hard was it to get involved to be like, I don't know, part of MVP on like more of a professional day-to-day thing?
So we're a small team. We don't have frequent job opportunities, but when they do come up, we'll post them on the website. Some things that are, depending on what job you're applying for, background and peer support is really helpful. For us, a lot of times our members, our staff so far, a lot of them have come from inside the program. So I was a member for like 2-3 years before I went on staff. So it just, when you understand the program inside and out, when you sat in all of those sessions, there's a lot of value you can bring to the table. If you want to work for a nonprofit, because
Right.
how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. What about a volunteer status?
Yes.
Can
So
anyone volunteer?
Yeah. So anyone can apply to volunteer. We don't necessarily have volunteer opportunities will vary by chapter and the needs of the chapter. Right. Now, sometimes we may have a big event coming up that we may need volunteers for. So if you would like to volunteer, you can go to our website, click on Get Involved. There's a volunteer application, and then we'll get back to you. And sometimes we don't have something at that moment, but we may have something later. So feel free to jump in there and volunteer. And if you qualify to be a member, definitely we want you coming into the program, because a lot of our volunteers are members. So that's pretty cool for us also.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And donations. How would someone want to donate if they want to help, but they don't want to be like personally involved? Because I'm kind of a recluse, and I'd be like, yeah, here's somebody. I love you guys, love what you're doing, but I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways you can support the program, right? And funding is a huge way. The program and everything is free to our members, and of course takes quite a bit of funding to support it. So you can go to our website, you can click donate, and you can support us that way. We always appreciate donations.
Awesome. That was my next question. Does it cost anything to be a member?
No, it nailed it.
Yeah. Let's see. Your time with MVP, do you have any like favorite moments or anything that stands out to you as fun? Because I don't know, I've never been part of MVP, but still one of my favorite memories in the last few years is bumping into Jay Glazer right after I read his book Unbreakable. And it was just like random coincidence. I went up to the top floor of my room. I was in Vegas, and I didn't realize the draft was that weekend. And then like there's all these famous people and football players. I pop out and I didn't realize how short he was. And I was like, well, hello. But yeah, fangirled out pretty hard. It was a really fun moment. But do you have any favorite memories or moments with MVP that really jump out to you?
Yeah, just being part of the community is so cool, because we have our weekly sessions, which are, the foundation of what we do. And then there's so many opportunities just being part of the program. We go to a lot of sporting events together. We get a lot of people that reach out and be like, hey, can you be part of this? So when I joined in 2018. I was a new member. I was newly sober, like just kind of getting my toe wet in the veteran community, still like pretty shut off, not sure about trusting people and stuff. So I joined this program, MVP, because I love to work out. So I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to go work out with people, and then I guess we'll get in a huddle and talk, whatever. Not realizing that the peer support aspect was what I needed the most. So there is an opportunity. at a time in my life, which I still do this now, where I was like, even if something scares me, I'm just going to say yes to it because that's where I need to go. And there was an opportunity to go work. Bear Grylls was doing like adventure racing that, you know, the whole community could come and is like a Tough Mudder type thing. They were like, we need like 6 veterans to go out and work this race. And so it was me and like 5 other guys, and I didn't really know them that well, but I was like, I really, really want to do this. So I'm just going to go. And so we were camping, and we really had like the time of our lives. They had us working the war-torn village. So we had airsoft guns with like nothing in them. And it was so much fun. And those guys are like still my best friends to this day. So that's probably my best memory.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why you were talking. You said you were going to do things that scare you. And I think that's the only reason I'm going to do MVP. I'll do the virtual and yeah. And it's because, yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, there's a reason it makes me uncomfortable. And it's just like, yeah, we'll just get past that, you know, like the whole socializing aspect. It's like, it's minor. And I think it'd be really fun. So you're in the role of resources and training. So
Yes.
like, what is your day like? Do you enjoy it? Like, is it fun? It sounds fun.
Yes, I love it. So, I mean, so we are a small nonprofit. So I do training and resources and a million other things. But I love my job because we're making an impact in people's lives every day. And it's just, and it's not just us, right? That's what I love so much about it is we're just creating this like culture and this space that all these people come and fill into it, and all these connections that are made organically. Like, it's just so cool to be a part of that. So what I do is I do training for our staff. So a lot of that will be around peer support, avoiding burnout, self-care, like all of these things that we need to keep us going. A lot of our members and staff, we've come from a place where we dealt with quite a lot of trauma in our lives. So it's so to be in a place where I've done a lot of work on myself, and I'm in like such a good spot right now. And it feels so good because when you go through all of those challenges and you get to the other side and you face down your demons and you like fought tooth and nail to have this life, you know, that you love and you're just so grateful for, like, that's an incredible place to be in. So that's just been so fun because it's like my life is my work, you know, and the healthier I get, the more I can help people. And even when I struggle and stuff, you can still use that, right? So it's just so cool. So I do the training side, so designing and implementing training programs for our staff, for our volunteers as well. And then we have a couple new programs that we're getting off the ground that we're pretty excited about. And so then the resources side, just kind of my journey back from like addiction and all of the, you know, PTSD, all of the challenges that I dealt with coming out of the military. I accessed quite a bit of resources, especially here in LA. So I'm already like very in that world, and I just love making connections. So my favorite resources are the outdoor rec therapy retreats and stuff like that. So I went on as many as I could because it really did change my life. So being able to connect members to resources is just awesome, right? So you have this foundation of a community that holds you accountable. You're coming in weekly, you're making these connections, you're sharing about what's going on. You come back the next week and share how it's gotten better or worse or whatever. And the team is there to support you no matter what. And then we just have access to all of these other resources that can help you continue to, you know, build that life and create that life that you deserve. So
deserve and want a good, healthy life. Yeah. You were talking about going out in nature and how much you enjoyed that. I was talking with a group called Outward Bound, and they mentioned power in nature. And it like never really hit me, but my favorite holidays are always like Alaska, where it's like nothing but nature and outside. And like I live in Hawaii. I love going on hikes here. So it's like I enjoy it because it is powerful. You know, every time I'm out there, there's no phones, just being connected in the moment. I loved it.
Yeah.
I believe in one of the emails, MVP Pro. I think that was something that you're doing.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
like a next step? Is that one of the classes that you were developing?
Well, so MVP Pro is something we've been working on for the last year.
Mhm.
So way back when, like 7 years ago when we started, the huddles were a bit of people coming in and just dumping, like getting a lot of shit off their chest, and people were really, really struggling, right? And so as we see the evolution of the huddle of people starting to heal and starting to get better, we see this trend towards wanting to have more growth opportunities, right? So that's where MVP Pro came in. It's a collection of concepts and topics and questions that we use for the huddles. So we're always going to open up our huddle with, hey, what anybody need to talk, anybody need to get something off their chest. And, people will share what they're going through, their wins, maybe something that they want to be held accountable for. And then if there's time left over, and sometimes there's lulls in the huddle, everybody will feel pretty good that week. We'll dive deep into some of these topics and questions, and they're designed to help us like really think about our life. One thing that we do that a lot of other organizations don't do is we address what happened to us in childhood, and then what happened to us during the military, and what's going on right now. So, military athletes, we struggle with divorce, we struggle with trying to co-parent, trying to parent, we struggle with relationships. There's so many things, and these are not just, solely our population. These are,
Right.
across the board, right? But when we come from these backgrounds that are so challenged, and maybe we weren't taught how, we didn't receive that love that we needed, or we weren't taught how to do certain things, life can be really challenging. And so it's great that we have Susie Landolfi on board. She helped create the curriculum for Boulder Crest. So she's been incredible. So we work
She is
together.
amazing. I had her
Yeah.
on. Yeah, she
Oh yeah.
covered
She's
aces, and I
great.
was like,
Yes.
it just opened my whole world up. I was
Yeah.
like, holy crap! Like, I always thought my childhood was normal, but when you put it in context with someone that had a normal childhood, whatever that means, it's like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
wait, maybe mine was a little bit different. But yeah,
Yeah.
she really she's insightful and high energy. I really like
Yes.
her.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, she's amazing. So we write the pro together. So it'll be about a topic like in March, we talked about transition, how we're always transitioning. Even we have this huge transition of leaving the military and sport. But then no matter what you're going through in life, you're always, getting married, having kids, like doing these new things, starting a new job, getting a divorce. So there's all of these, we're always going through transition. So we did a whole month on that, and then we have questions to ask in the huddle, and then wellness practices. So yeah, it's just taking a deeper dive into our healing. And when you understand what happened to you and why you do the things that you do, it kind of takes that thing of like, oh God, what's wrong with me? And it's like, okay, no, what I'm doing is totally normal, and
Mhm.
a natural reaction for what happened to me. Now, what I'm doing right now, it may not be helping me in this life that I have, or this life that I'm creating. So now it's up to me, no matter how this happened, or who did this to me, or what I did to myself in the past. Now I deserve to take control of this, and I deserve to, go and learn the wellness practices and do them. Like if Susie was on, we're always talking about wellness practices. That it's not like meditation is great, but if it's not something that you're doing frequently, it's not going to build that resilience that we need when shit goes sideways. So
Right.
MVP Pro has been really fun to do with Susie. So it's in all of our huddles, and then we have a monthly psychoeducation that Susie leads, and we're working on getting those out so the public can also view them. So we have a lot of really cool projects. We do a lot of things internally, and now it's so valuable for our members, that we're working on ways to bring that more externally to the community.
That's awesome. When you're saying that, it reminded me of control. When you understand it and you can control it, it almost makes it like we take the power back. We don't feel like helpless victims or like a victim of the situation or consequences. It's like, no, we've got this. This is ours. And the more you understand, the more you can take control of that. I really like that. And you're talking about military. It's not exclusively military in the divorce. When I joined EOD, like they told me day one, they're like, "Hey, EOD stands for everyone's divorced," you know. I was like, and it was almost true. It was like 98% true. Every person I knew that joined married was divorced, and it was like it's a hard life because it's training, or you're deployed or gone. And, you know, it is. I think that's all the questions I have about MVP. Is there anything that you like to touch on before we jump off here? Like, where you guys have web page and Instagram. I'm going to add all that to the show notes to be on the bottom, as well as I'm going to like and follow all of them, including you. Just wanted to give an opportunity if I missed anything, or if there's anything you'd like to elaborate on, we'd hit on that now.
Yeah. Okay. So this is really important. I didn't cover this. So our core weekly sessions, like I said, are for combat veterans and former professional athletes. But we like to be very active in the community. So we do community events. We do really cool fundraisers. So you can go to our website under, I believe it's events. Let me just double check really quick. So you can see what we have going on in your area. And we often do events that are not actually where we have a chapter. So definitely follow us on socials. It'll all be in the show notes. Sign up for our newsletter, because there's really cool opportunities that are open to the whole community.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I enjoy it, and congratulations again. I hope your wedding is amazing and your evening's amazing. And I don't know, I'm stoked for you. It really sounds like you have a rewarding career and an enjoyable group that you're around, and can't wait to touch my toe in there and see what it's like.
We're very excited to have you.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a good day.
Yes, thank you so much.